She used to sing in the kitchen, now she won't leave her room. The anxiety came on slowly, then all at once. Panic before school, tears she can't explain. Your doctor calls it adolescence, hormones, a phase. What no one checked was her blood sugar, and her brain, the part that keeps her calm, may be running out of fuel. Today, we go there. A quick note before we start. This video is science education, not medical advice. Nothing here is a diagnosis or a treatment plan. Every test and every option we mention, you discuss with her doctor. We don't tell you what to do. We show you what the research says, so you can ask the right questions.
I'm sad.
No, not again. Why does this always have to come out of nowhere? It's really hot in here. I can't catch my breath. Why can't I catch my breath? My hands are shaky. My heart's definitely going too fast. My pulse is too high. My pulse is definitely too fast.
They don't know how many great opportunities, or even simple daily activities, I have to say no to because this thing completely paralyzes me. Pretty much no one knows. I don't want to show my weaknesses because I don't want them to judge me.
You've been told the same thing for 2 years. It's just puberty. She'll grow out of it. But you watch her. You see something deeper. The fog, the dread, the exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. Here's what the science has quietly known for decades. Puberty is not only a hormonal event, it is a metabolic crisis, the biggest insulin shift of her entire life. And in girls, it hits harder. Let's start with what happens inside her body at 12, 13, 14. A longitudinal study published in the journal Diabetes tracked children straight through puberty. Insulin sensitivity drops sharply. It begins at Tanner stage 2. It bottoms out at stage 3. In plain terms, her cells stop listening to insulin as well as they used to. This is normal. Every adolescent goes through it. But here is the part for you. Girls are more insulin resistant than boys at every single stage. One cohort found HOMA-IR rose 2.5 times in girls between ages 8 and 12, and youth-onset type 2 diabetes is twice as common in girls as in boys. That sex difference disappears in adults. It is specific to her right now. So why girls? Part of the answer is estrogen. As estrogen rises, it amplifies pulses of growth hormone, and growth hormone directly opposes insulin. It tells the body to burn fat and hold on to sugar. The result is a blood sugar system that swings high, then crashes low, up after she eats, down a few hours later. For most girls, the body keeps up, but for some, those swings reach the one organ that can't tolerate them: her brain. Your daughter's brain is the hungriest organ she has. It is 2% of her body weight and burns 20% of her glucose. It has almost no fuel storage. It needs a steady supply minute by minute, and not all of the brain is equal. Research on glucose and the brain shows 2 regions are the most vulnerable to a fuel drop: the hippocampus, memory, and the prefrontal cortex, focus, decision-making, and emotional control. The prefrontal cortex is the brake pedal on fear. When its fuel dips, the brake gets weak. The fear response runs without a brake. That is not a character flaw. That is an energy problem. Now connect the two. When blood sugar falls, the body treats it as an emergency. A study in Frontiers in Endocrinology showed that repeated blood sugar drops raise norepinephrine, a stress chemical, in the amygdala, the brain's alarm center.
Anyone with diabetes really needs to manage their cortisol levels. And how do we manage our cortisol levels? We manage the stress, we manage the depressive symptom.
The result, measured in the lab, more anxiety. So picture her morning. She skips breakfast or eats cereal and juice. Blood sugar spikes. Insulin overshoots. By second period, it crashes. Right as she sits down for a test, her prefrontal cortex loses fuel and her alarm center lights up. A randomized controlled trial in school children found exactly this pattern. The glycemic load of breakfast predicted both their mood and their thinking across the morning. What she ate at 7 a.m. shaped how she felt at 10. 2 more pieces complete the picture. The first is movement. Muscle is where glucose goes to be used safely. A girl who sits all day has fewer working muscles to buffer her blood sugar. The swings get sharper. The second is the opposite extreme. Intense, relentless training drives up cortisol. Chronic cortisol worsens insulin resistance and feeds the same anxiety loop. The body wants the middle path. Steady movement. Not too little, not too much. You don't need a lab to start noticing the pattern. Think about her afternoons. The crash around 4 o'clock, the headache, the sudden craving for something sweet, the mood that turns sharp when a meal runs late and softens the moment she eats. Think about her skin and her cycle, acne that won't clear, periods that arrive late or not at all. In girls, these are often the first visible signs that insulin is running high. The same hormone storm can quietly tip into early PCOS years before anyone names it. None of these prove anything on their own, but together they are a pattern, and a pattern is a reason to look closer. You are not imagining it. You have been watching real data this whole time. The anxiety, the crashes, the skin, the cycle, they may all trace back to one system, the system that decides how steadily her brain gets fed. So, what do you actually do with this? You go to her doctor with specific questions. Here is where the science points. First, the lab work. Most checkups measure fasting glucose. That number stays normal for years while insulin quietly climbs. Ask about fasting insulin and a calculation called HOMA-IR. Clinicians consider fasting insulin the best everyday screen for insulin resistance. It can reveal the problem long before glucose ever moves. Second, the medical context. When insulin resistance is confirmed in an adolescent, physicians sometimes discuss metformin off-label. Trials show it can lower HOMA-IR and stabilize weight, though the effect is modest, and part of it reflects puberty resolving on its own. That is a conversation for her doctor, not a recommendation. Third, and this is where the research gets interesting, what the studies found before medication. A trial in breakfast-skipping teenagers found a higher protein breakfast improved their daily blood sugar control. Protein and fat slow the spike. They flatten the crash. They keep her brain's fuel steady through the morning. The research has also looked at specific nutrients. A study in adolescent girls found myo-inositol, a compound in the insulin signaling pathway, lowered HOMA-IR and fasting insulin. Randomized trials on magnesium, a cofactor in the insulin receptor, show improved insulin sensitivity. And omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, have reduced anxiety symptoms in adolescents, likely by calming inflammation and stabilizing neurons. None of these are prescriptions. None are doses. They are questions worth bringing to her healthcare provider. The point is this: her anxiety may have a metabolic root no one has looked at yet. If you take one thing from today, make it the morning. Protein first, before anything sweet. Eggs, yogurt, or last night's leftovers, not cereal and juice. A short walk before school if you can. Muscle quiets blood sugar. Sleep protected, because one bad night raises insulin resistance the next day. You are not curing anything. You are giving her brain a steadier supply of fuel during the most metabolically demanding years of her life. And here is why this matters far beyond 9th grade. The insulin pathway clouding her focus today does not disappear at 18. It is the same pathway tied to PCOS in her 20s, to brain fog in perimenopause, to cognition in her 70s. What you do for her blood sugar now is not just about this semester. It is the first chapter of a 60-year story, her whole lifespan. She is not fragile. She is running on an unstable fuel line, and a fuel line can be steadied. If you want to take this with you, we've put together a free visual map of everything we covered today. The lab values, the mechanisms, what the research found, all on one page, printable, shareable. The link is in the description. Walk into that doctor's office and ask the right questions.